Hi guys, Desert Race Centre here. Going to show you something with this particular track bike. It's of a customers that's bought this track bike. Want to show you some of the things that go on and maybe things that you might not know when it comes to buying race bikes or track bikes. Essentially any track bike or race bike needs a level of maintenance or a maintenance program continually done on it to keep it up to spec. Unfortunately, what happens in the industry a bit, people have the perception, oh, it's a track bike, I'm going to crash it maybe, so it doesn't really matter if it's a bit rough or whatever. Sure, aesthetically, it doesn't matter if it's super neat and tidy. However, what's underneath is really, really important. When we sell our ex-track bikes or our ex-race team bikes or track bikes, they're generally a fair bit more expensive than what the market value is for other track bikes or race bikes of the same model, make. And the reason is because they have a heavy maintenance program, and before we sell them, we go completely over them like we would at the start of a season, so you're buying a fresh, well-maintained motorcycle. Generally what happens in the market is when you buy an ex-race bike or an ex-track bike, you're buying it when it's well overdue or it needs a major overhaul or service. Because it's at the end of its race season, they're done, the team's done with that bike, and not all teams go over the bike the way that we would and do all the maintenance program. So this was a really good example. This is an extreme example, but we do see this sort of thing. So if we look at this fork tube, see that's completely loose? So this bike has come in for a couple other things. Was here, we noticed that the fork was leaking and suggested we have a look at it. And just pulling the front wheel out, look at that. That's loose on the tube. This one here, I have to, like this is tighter so the tube does, it stays intact. But if I hold it with my hand, you can see that I can actually move the base. Now, the reason for this is these have race kit cartridges in them. And when those race kit cartridges are installed, part of the process to install them is these bases have to be removed from the tube. It's normal. They do need permanent Loctite after that, and they also have a grub screw. So in this particular case, unfortunately, it appears that this one hasn't been done properly, and it's led to this. Once they're done properly, they should never, ever come loose. That said, our maintenance program in our race bikes, for example, is every time we're doing a suspension service, this is checked. So we have not only fork run-out checks, fork tube inspections for pitting or any marks that have hit it that might cause a fork seal to leak. We have this base integrity check built into all our fork services. So even when we're doing road bike services, but we stay up on the upkeep. So that's why if you're comparing one of our ex-race bikes to something else on the second-hand market, there might be quite a price disparity because we've done all the work that should be done before sale, so that you're buying the bike as we would race it, rather than at the end of a season when it's due for all this work. So that's something that's really important to bear in mind about when you're buying second-hand track bikes. It's also quite often that we will see customers of ours buy a second-hand track bike elsewhere, just on the private market. When we receive the bike they might bring it in for a service or a track bike checkover. It's not uncommon for us to uncover a lot of issues that end up bringing the price not only up to what we sell our bikes for, but actually over. So sometimes it's actually a little bit more cost effective to buy something that's maintained and sold in the condition that it should be.